happens to people who are cremated? Well, I'm about to explain in depth what happens to people who are cremated. And I'm smoking this cigarette, and it really requires me to do so, given I only have 5 cigarettes left. Now, what happens to people who are cremated? Well, when you're cremated, you become material. You become dust. Instead of decaying into another life form, you will become dust if you are cremated. Your soul will not be able to be saved in entirety. It will be partially there. It will have approximately none of the strength that it once had. It will not have any force upon the world that is great. It will be a memory instead. Because of cremation, there exists a lot of souls that will exist solely in the sky. Because cremation, you become a gas and also a dust. Most of the soul goes into the gas and not into the dust. In fact, usually none of the soul actually goes into the dust. The reason for that is because they see the dust as something so expletive. Once the soul is finished burning, they completely resist turning into dust, because the dust could have been bacteria, and they see that. The soul will see that. So, once it's all blended up, the dust isn't much of a valuable object anymore. It's just compost. This is tough to hear because the soul of them still exists, but it does not have a hole in the reality. It cannot actually reincarnate. It will just exist as a memory or a picture. It might whisper to you in the wind. If you're powerful enough to conjure the ghost of the person. Your grandfather might talk to you in the wind or something like that. Actually happens. It's the real world. Shit happens like that. There's ghosts. But they don't become a reincarnated being. Now, of the 12 dimensions, we exist among all of them equally. We are spread out across the 12 dimensions. That is the 4 physical dimensions. That is up, left, and backwards, and through time. That's the first 4. And then you have, I'll tell you what they all are, by the way. And then you have, what are they? Oh yeah. Damn it, it's really hard to think about, It's really hard to think about these 12 dimensions, It must mean something, Okay, there's never up and down, which is a dimension. This is where you don't go up or down, you just travel away, you travel on a flat plane, right? Same thing, there's never left or right, it's a flat plane, which also exists as a dimension, actually. There's, never forward or back, so that's a flat plane. There is, stationary in time, that is all of the time combined together, which is one dimension. There is just up and down, just forward and back, and just left to right. Now what that is its accuracy, and also there's backwards in time. What that is number 1, it's accuracy, and number 2, it's a quantum hold. It's basically what it means to go on a flat plane is it means to compress the quantum energies, because the quantum energies are constantly giving you a force. Oh yeah, it's 0.001 that way. Well, when you're a human being, you can clearly see that it's a flat plane. So that is taken out of consideration. Also, you can go in a straight line as a human being. You will go and survive, and nothing will destroy you. This is an element of the human body. The fact that it is quantumly resistant as the strongest calculatable force. The strongest force is calculation. You go backwards in time as well. Believe it or not, the human mind can actually create the universe itself. It can morph the universe along with its own memories to deliberately, with force and matter, create a universe for itself using time reversal. Now, this is not just magic, this is just the fucking world, dude. It's just the 12-dimensional world we live in, dude, because the world is 12-dimensional. Things go back in time. How do things go back in time? Well, they exhibit a negative temperature. That is negative Kelvin. How do things, we gotta be really cold, dude. You gotta be a really cold person to do that. And humans are really cold, they see true and false, and that's a hard thing to do, because the thing about truth and false is a truth can only be 50% truth, because there's three things. There's truth, there's false, and there's nonsense, right? And a nonsense thing is neither true or false. It's just gibberish. It's a falsehood amongst a calculation, right? It's incalculable, and things can only be 100% or 50% of those three things, right? And the thing about nonsense is that it can disappear right away. Nonsense can disappear right away because nonsense, it simply did not suit the human mind. Nonsense was not there. When you look at the world is very concrete, it's very rigid. It didn't used to be all rigid. It used to be like ghosty shit, right? Well, as soon as you look at the microscope for the first time, when you see those bacteriums, the bacteriums are there. But before then, there was no bacteriums. There was just a force that was like bacteriums, right? Even if you think about it, that's almost enough. That's how the world works. If you think about it, it's actually enough. That's the truth about the world, and it's gonna stay that way. Now, if you are a wise human, the world will constantly shift around you. Things will move around, you'll see it with your eyes, and shit will just it will just be amorphous kind of material, like there's no like fucking determination about it, as if you're a wise human being, you've managed to gather some sort of essence in your life, like some sort of wisdom, and you kind of, put the pedal to the metal regarding the laws of physics, and you discover some things, right? That's happens to the natural human, and what that means is that this will not be destroyed. That is your consciousness. It cannot be destroyed, even if you cremate yourself to an atom. If you become an atom, if you become a beam of light, you are that beam of light. That beam of light is intelligent. It can hold something. What can it hold? It can hold 3 plus 1 dimensions. That's 4 dimensions. And what can you do in 3 dimensions? Well, when you try and measure a beam of light, you're going to notice something. There's a lot of zeros at the end of that fucking measurement, dude. That's position. And in a position, you'll see something. There's something called a Planck time, right? And that Planck time is basically the smallest measurable time. And you'll see something like that Planck time, you'll see that there's a time smaller than that. Now that thing is vibrating around in heat, but it also exhibits negative heat. And that's the magic about heat, is that heat can be negative as well. All the time. There's a negative cooling effect that is attributable to the quantum state. And the quantum state is such that every atom in the universe knew the other atoms. They knew where they were, and they knew where they were traveling, and they knew where they were going to go, up to a certain point. That point is when a human brain comes into contact with it. Human can include animals, by the way, because animals are also human. They have brains and they have claws that can, like, push things. That's pretty strong, dude. I mean, animals have gone to space, probably. I don't doubt it. I think bacteria have gone to space as well. That's just my knowledge. Maybe viruses haven't gone to space. You know how? Maybe they just didn't have a sharp enough hold on reality because they were non-living. Maybe viruses have gone to space. Maybe there was a life form that was less than life forms, that somehow managed to scrape itself into the space and travel to another galaxy, like as an intelligent supercluster of viruses that would just like be this disgusting, absolutely disgusting, vile morph. Matter itself could have made the world in 7 days. Who knows? I don't know about that. I don't think that's true. I don't think matter itself made the world just now. Fuck, if it did, I wouldn't be thinking about this thing for so long. I don't know what I was thinking about, though. So yeah, you can't destroy the human essence. You become dust. There will be a force to sustain you. You become a single photon of light. There will be a force to sustain your determinative will. That is, what is your will to see something? What is your will to experience? What is your will to decide as well? Because there's two things that a human can do. They can take in information, and they can move their muscles. And you can always move your muscles. Do you have the same power? You might become very small. You'll still have the same power multiplied by your size. If you're a single beam of light, well, you know what a beam of light can do over a certain period of time? One photon hits the Earth. 14.7 billion years later, that photon could decide the entire fate of the Earth. And at that period of time for you, you're just thinking about your past, maybe you could choose something different, And the soul can always develop. And that's the thing about the soul that's the most beautiful. Is that in any state, the soul can grow. And you'll grow a lot in your death. And you'll grow a lot in your reincarnation if you manage to decide to reincarnate actually. Because a lot of souls will never reincarnate. They decide to be dust forever. And the dust will always speak to you and will always change for you, because the quantum world is 12-dimensional. You not only have yourself choosing the world, but the world will choose itself for you. Now, I'll see you later.